Man, getting in late today. It's 5:45. And it says it's 45 degrees outside. It's much colder than that. Ice is 33. Having a hard time convincing myself to get in. But need to get moving. It is bitter cold. If cold can be a flavor, and the wind is blowing, which does not make things really cool, or makes it really cool, I guess. It's not really fun. This is actually getting more and more difficult. I think in my mind I make it harder than it really is to get in here. Yeah, I really do. I definitely make it harder to get in here in my mind. It's not as bad as I continually tell myself. So, I think I said this yesterday, a lot of this is mental. The physical pain is real, and the shock is real. The unpleasantness is real. But I imagine it being worse than it is, which is amazing because I've done this now for a month and a half, every day but Sunday. Ooh, that wind is not nice. I may have to go inside to dry off when I get out today. I got to thinking about getting a blood test done, and just to check how this ice bath is affecting some biomarkers. And I really should have done it immediately before, but I got one done a few months prior to doing this, so it should be pretty close. My lifestyle hadn't changed, and so I just started doing a little research on what biomarkers, if any, indicate biological age. And there's not any one solid or group of solid biomarkers, but there are some that are looked at and accepted as the most likely markers to look at. Anyway, one of the studies I was looking at defined aging as the natural process of the degradation of the cells. I can't remember exactly how it phrased it. Of all living things. It actually said most living things, but I couldn't think of any living thing that doesn't age. It's the process of dying, essentially, is what it said, in all living things. And that made me think of the fact that all creation groans since the time Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and God cursed the ground, that all creation, which would mean the heavens as well, groans. But we certainly see it on earth, that everything goes through the process of dying. And dying's not fun. The process of aging isn't fun. The results of it, the ill health, the aches and pains, the loss of ability to do things, isn't fun. And so we try to avoid it. We try not to think about it. And then I got to thinking about the evolution theory when you question it, like where did dirt come from? Where did the earth come from? Where? Eventually, finally, they just say, there is a thing, a substance, that always existed. Whether they call it substance, ether, or energy, or this little tiny ball of compressed mass that was eternal, because when it comes down to it, something had to exist in eternity, eternally. And if it's eternal, it doesn't change, it doesn't die. And so I asked, if an eternal thing begets, or if anything came from something eternal, wouldn't it be eternal? Wouldn't it also live forever? It would not experience the aging, the dying process. And so I asked how evolution explains death. Or how did death evolve? I asked those two questions. I got the same answer. That according to the evolution theory, death actually evolved. And it evolved so that the process of natural selection could continue, or could begin. It had to have begun, but for it to continue. That just seems a little odd to me. That natural selection is the selection of the survival of the fittest, essentially. And in order for that to occur, that which was eternal had to begin to die. It just doesn't make sense. If something was going to live forever, let's kill it. So that natural selection can improve it, make it better. Well, what could be better than living eternally? Nothing ever failing or dying as you go on through life. We've got about another minute to go here. So, I don't find any consistency in the evolution theory, and again, there really isn't consistency in it. It really, when you start to dig into it, just the basic principles of it don't make sense. People much smarter than I can go through and try to explain it, and their explanations begin to sound plausible, but just the very basic. You see, the gospel is so easy to understand. A child can grasp it. And that same child can look at evolution and say, at the very basic, fundamental level, foundation, it doesn't work. We'll look a little bit more into this process. And over the next few days, I believe. Right now I have to get out, and the wind is blowing, and I am not looking forward to it. This ice is deep. Okay. Try to go through the normal pattern here. Put the cover on. Yeah, we just ignore the wind. Ignore the hardship. Fight through it. Now, skin's numb, but I can feel that wind. That is for sure. This too shall pass. I'm beginning to wonder if I should do this every single day, or maybe change to every other day. I'm not too sure. That mid-cingulate cortex doesn't need time to recover. I don't think it automatically expands. It has to grow for the shot, but I could be wrong. pose that question to Dr. Andrew Huberman. Maybe it's just like any other muscle. I have to have time to recover, rebuild. But that would indicate that doing challenging things you don't really want to do, causes it to somehow break down like a muscle does, wear out like a muscle does. It is made up a little bit differently than muscle, but in the end it's neurons and matter. No, I feel good for having done it though, and not giving in. Conquer. Do the hard thing first thing, conquer first thing, and you feel like you can do anything all day long. Maybe not all day long. Start to get tired. Have a great day.